Hi, it's Rachelle Abbott. Welcome back to the Standard podcast.
Please mind the gap between the train and the platform. This is
Now, the beauty of a podcast is that you can switch on to listen whenever and wherever you want. And you may be perched in a tube carriage listening right now. If you look around, or even if you're nowhere near London Underground, you'll likely know the iconic moquette designs of tube train seat fabric. It's also popular on souvenirs. And it's these century-old patterns which play a big part of this episode. London's diverse communities are being celebrated from today in a new campaign from Transport for London, VCCP and Wavemaker UK, after winning a prestigious advertising competition from The Standard and Outernet London. All entrants to the competition were asked to optimise media platforms to drive positive societal change. As part of the greatest advertising competition, TfL designed Fabric of London, a bespoke animated moquette design that tells real stories shared by Londoners, reflecting the vital role TfL plays in bringing people from all backgrounds together. If you look at our podcast image, you can take a sneak peek. The moquette is featured across this week's edition of the London Standard newspaper, online and on display as an immersive animation at Outernet London. So to explain more about their award-winning entry, we're joined by Emma Strain, Customer Director at Transport for London. Emma, welcome to the podcast. To kick off, why is celebrating London's diversity so important?
Well, that's what the root of our city is, isn't it? I mean, London is a brilliant and diverse city. You know, it has everything for everybody within it, whether that's, restaurants and bars, it's theatre, cultural institutions. It's, is everyone's work, it's play, you've got indoor and outdoor. It is everything for everybody. And of course, London's communities are incredibly diverse. There are, very established communities and much newer communities. And, London is a rich tapestry of people. That is part of what makes London brilliant and why everybody loves London, is that actually you've got different communities in different spaces, but you've also got communities that are spread much more widely across London. And actually, as you travel around London, you get to experience all of that, whether that's through food or whether that's through faith. Those experiences are there for everyone to enjoy. And because it is so diverse, it's so well integrated. People work well together, communities work well as neighbours and friends, and there is that richness that is really special.
With this in mind, could you walk us through the animated moquette tapestry that is going on display at the Outernet from today?
It's all about celebrating that diversity. It sort of stems from our moquette. So moquette is the fabric that we use to put on the seats of all the tubes and buses, and there's a variety of different patterns that are used, and we really took our inspiration from that. And those patterns and colours and brightness and that vibrancy is sort of reflective of London. We drew that inspiration and that diversity into the stories of the people of London. So they emerge from the moquette in the video. It's quite something to be seen. It brings together people's stories and their experiences and spins them through the moquette, and they emerge into the video in this huge space that is the Outernet, where, for those who haven't been, has this incredibly immersive video walls that surround you. And then you see this story played out, all around you and over your head. And it's just a quite beautiful and vibrant piece.
How many stories have you selected?
So we've selected 9 to be part of the design. We worked with an ethnographer who looked at a whole raft of different stories. Of course, it was all about gathering stories that feel representative of London. And they will be shown through the film, but also through the content that will go into the Evening Standard. And there are posters which will complement that and tell some of these stories, plus information on our website. But these ones are the ones that stood out to us. They felt like authentically London.
Could you tell us about a couple of these stories?
One of the stories is a person called Bridget, who joined her swimming club in Hackney and cycles to the reservoir in Hackney and goes swimming with a group of new mums from all different backgrounds. And actually they come together, share their experiences, bring their babies and look after them. And it's about how they all come together to support each other, in a safe space. But also, I think Bridget's story talks about how she finds it really serene and relaxing and peaceful and bringing everyone together. The other story that's represented is Irene. Irene lives with her partner in Primrose Hill and works as an interior designer. She's a Londoner, but is from Jamaica originally, and feels like in London she never left that culture behind. And her story talks about her school friends and the journey they used to take on the bus back to her mum's for Jamaican oxtail soup. So the video has a beautiful piece where you can see that soup steaming on the stove. And it's just a really nice story to hear about her growing up in London.
Let's go to a very quick break. Coming up in part 2.
The doors of the tube pull back and then you see the seats in front of you. You know, for me, that is one of those iconic images of London.
And just a quick note, we'd love to hear from you. Please do get in touch with us at podcasts@standard.co.uk. Welcome back. Emma, when I was looking at the design, as a born and bred Londoner, the colours brought back so much nostalgia for me. The dark blues, the light blues, the reds. You know, I used to get the Victoria line to school every day, and as an adult, I've obviously travelled throughout the whole network. Was the colour selection important when designing the moquette?
Oh, absolutely. And the beginning of the piece opens up with the doors of the tube, which pull back, and then you see the seats in front of you. And, you know, for me, that is one of those iconic images of London. It's like everybody who's ever been to London has had that experience. And as they pull out in front of you in Outernet, you know, at this huge, huge scale with the beautiful reds and blues, it feels very much like TfL. It's a wonderful thing. And that brightness and the blues and the reds are so much part of our identity. You think about the London Underground roundel. It has those colours in it. You see it everywhere, and it just looks stunning in those opening segments. And then it moves into telling those stories. It's just a really beautiful thing.
With the Outernet being so immersive, how did that play an important role in the design process?
Oh, it's so important because it's just this amazing canvas, which means that you can really wrap the story around the viewer. So when you stand there and you experience the colour and the brightness and the way the story unfolds all around you. And each time when you watch it, you see something new within it. So it's a fabulous, fabulous space to tell a story in. It's certainly one of my favourites. I've seen it a few times now, and every time I watch it, I see something different. So I would encourage everyone to go down and see it, because it's really quite special to work in a space that tells the story so beautifully and so immersively.
And it's not just Londoners who will be able to see this. It is tourists too. Do you think activations such as this are a good way to represent our city?
Oh, absolutely. They're going to love it. When a tourist comes to London, that's one of the things they do. They travel around London. It's a city where tourists and everybody alike feel safe to travel around. The way that our system is set out means people can navigate. It's easy to work your way around. The Outernet's a really well-visited site, and they will walk from the tube, off the Elizabeth line, up the stairs into Outernet, and to be able to see that play out in front of them, I think it'll be really special. It'll be a really great experience, and something that I'm sure people will hold on to. Everybody in Outernet has got a phone in front of them as well, recording it for posterity. So I would think that they'll take a little piece of Outernet and a little piece of our fabric of London back home.
Final question, Emma. How long are you presenting at the Outernet? How long have people got to go and see the display?
4 weeks. It runs until the 4th of March, and it's going to be on every 15 minutes. This has been a huge collaboration that we've worked really closely with our creative agency, VCCP, and with Wavemaker, and that we're delighted that this beautiful creative is going to be displayed both in Outernet, but also throughout the month through The Standard as a wrap for the cover this week, but also with more in-depth stories over the course of the month, bringing out more stories that we brought together as part of this creative submission.
And that's The Standard. This podcast returns tomorrow at 4 p.m. For more information and to read more on the stories featured in the animated tapestry, head to our website standard.co.uk, and why not pop down to the Outernet to see it in action. Get in touch with this podcast at podcasts@standard.co.uk.